The Pixel 3a series is here. It aims to give the same camera experience of its siblings at a more affordable price point. This is Sandeep from RevWireless and here's our camera review of the Pixel 3a XL. The Google Pixel 3a and 3a XL share the same hardware camera-wise and processing power-wise, so the observations hold true for both the models. The 3a and 3a XL come with the same camera hardware as the Pixel 3 devices at the back. They pack in a 12.2 megapixel 1x2.55 inch sensor with optical image stabilization, f1.8 aperture and dual pixel autofocus. However, they lack the visual core that Pixel flagships have, and we'll get to the implications of that in a while. While the hardware is decent, it's definitely not industry leading, but that's where Google's advanced image processing algorithm comes into play. In terms of image quality, the Pixel 3a and 3a XL are practically as good as their costlier siblings. They have amazing dynamic range, excellent sharpness and detail, as well as great color rendition. The focus speeds are instantaneous thanks to a dual pixel autofocus and also keeps track of the subject and follows focus accordingly. Due to the fact that the camera is constantly capturing images and has already captured several frames by the time you hit the shutter button, it's ideal if you're capturing children or pets or anything that can move quickly. There's never so slight difference in the way that the images are processed compared to the higher end pixels, slight change in vibrance, slight difference in sharpness, etc. But unless you're comparing it by zooming in a few times side by side, you can't really tell them apart. The lack of the visual core means that the phone needs to use only its CPU and GPU to perform tasks related to the camera, and that should mean longer time to open the camera, clicking a photo, saving it and processing it. But so far I've only noticed a major difference in the time it takes to launch the camera app. The rest of it is pretty much in line, if not just a tad bit slower than the bigger pixels. However, knowing that Pixel devices get slower over time, it's possible that the difference in speed will become more tangible over time, say a few months later. Portrait mode is excellent as usual, perfect edge detection, no blur bleed and overall great sharpness on the portion in focus. There are times when it does go a bit wrong, but that's extremely rare and overall still better than any other phone on the market. It's really surprising considering that the Google Pixel devices just have one single camera, but the way that they combine that camera along with dual pixel autofocus and the blurring algorithm, it creates really stunning results. In terms of low-light photography, you have to use the night sight mode. While the regular mode also takes good photos, it's still better to use the night sight mode to get images with lower levels of noise, much better detail and exposure. It uses a more complex algorithm than the HDR Plus that's used regularly and often also takes more frames to get the desired output. It's also clever enough to know whether you're using the phone handheld or whether it's kept on a tripod and adjusts the shutter speed accordingly. You can also use the night sight mode in daylight condition for that extra bit of dynamic range and slightly more accurate colors. It doesn't make a world of a difference and in most cases the results are identical, but sometimes it does help adjust a bit more. The front-facing camera unit is different from the more expensive Pixels. You get the same 8 megapixel sensor, but the aperture is smaller at f2. You also lose out on the wide-angle sensor that comes with the more expensive models. Quality-wise, again they're pretty identical just like the rear camera. There's great sharpness and detail with good dynamic range too. Portrait mode is bang on too with excellent edge detection and blurring, and the only main difference comes in low light scenarios where there's more noise than the Pixel flagships. It's not too bad and looks fine overall, but zooming in will reveal this. Think of noise as somewhere between the primary selfie camera and the ultra wide angle camera of the 3XL. In terms of video, you can shoot a maximum 4K 30fps with the rear camera with EIS and OIS. The average bitrate is around 48 megabits per second and the video quality is great. There's plenty of detail and sharpness with natural looking colors, and the stabilization makes the footage very professional looking. There's no 4K 60fps out there, but there is a 1080p 60fps mode, but this isn't very good in terms of quality, so we'd suggest sticking to 4K 30fps itself. The front facing camera video maxed out at 1080p 30fps, but there is no EIS. The details are also not too great and does seem a bit soft, and the video has an average bitrate of 17 megabits per second. Hey guys, it's Sandeep from RevWireless and this is the front-facing camera on the Google Pixel 3a XL, capturing Full HD video at 30fps. Let me know what you guys think about the overall sharpness, the dynamic range, stabilization, and how well it's become my voice in this scenario. Slow motion videos can be recorded either at 120fps, 1080p or 240fps, 720p. The app itself shows you 1/4 and 1/8 the speed, which is 120fps and 240fps respectively, and the quality is pretty good as well. Apart from the hardware and software processing that we have discussed so far, the primary difference between the flagship Pixels and the 3a as well as 3a XL is this. The flagship Pixels allow you to upload unlimited 4K videos and full resolution photos to your account, while the 3A and 3A XL allows reduced quality photos and videos unlimited or unlimited just like flagship Pixels will full resolution and 4K, but that will count against your Google account data. But for others, if your sole reason for buying a Pixel is the high quality photos it can produce, then the 3A and 3A XL might be enough for you. You get the same experience at a cheaper rate, and while the wide angle selfie camera is missing, rest of it is practically the same. Still, I would advise waiting a month or so for more offers, after which the 3A and 3A XL will make more sense to buy. Thanks for watching this video. Please hit the subscribe button if you liked it. See you again in the next one.